Well, not in the too distant future. In May, in fact, we are coming up to the local uh, elections. And I have said this, I don't know how many times on this channel, that local politics matters and should matter just as much as what goes on in Westminster. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And it is a combination of things, from losing, local newspapers to, uh, you know, groups and even, parties not communicating what they are doing at a local level, leaving up to almost the councillors themselves, who very often are, well, of a certain age where they still don't understand social media and can't even communicate using that medium. So, as a result, local elections, as I've said for quite a while, the turnout, average turnout in the UK is around 27%, somewhere around there. That is incredibly low. Incredibly low. You can get elected. You can get elected as a local councillor on a swing of like 100 votes. It is not a lot. Not a lot at all. Heck, sometimes to actually win, you only need about 300 votes, which again, for a local area, depending on your size, is not a lot at all. Is not a lot at all. But it's not just about worrying, of course, about turnout and political engagement for local elections. It also should be worrying about turnout for, regional elections as well, that we're now seeing with, getting the regional mayors in, but general elections as well. And there's just been a new report warning about this, about turnout inequality and what the UK needs to do to try and prevent this. And our elections now being seen as illegitimate by certain groups of people because they don't go out and vote, which again is frustrating on so many levels. But there you go. So before we get on into this and talking more about this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. There are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So over we go then on to this from The Guardian. Turnout inequality in the UK elections close to tipping point, report warns. So UK elections are now on a close to tipping point where they lose legitimacy because of the plummeting voter turnout amongst renters and non-graduates, an influential think tank has now said. The analysis for the Institute of Public Policy Research, or the IPPR, found the gap in turnout between those with and without university degrees grew to 11% points in the 2024 general election, double that of 2019. This turnout gap between homeowners and renters also grew nearly a quarter between 2017 and 2024 to 19 percentage points. This study finds now a growing disillusionment with politics among certain social groups, which is leading now to increasing unequal elections. Parth Patel, the Associate Director of Democracy and Politics at the Institute, said that we are close to a tipping point at which the elections begin to lose legitimacy because the majority do not take part. That should be ringing more alarm bells than it is. And that is terrifying, that because people don't take part, they feel disillusioned, which means they don't take part, which means the elections get worse. I don't know what to say. I've always said, hey, voting is important. Even if you feel so disillusioned, you should always go out and vote. Always go out and make that effort to vote. Even if you are disillusioned, because it matters. It matters so much. And unless you want to start doing what you do in Australia, basically forcing you to go out and vote and fining you if you don't, well, who knows? Maybe we should be looking at all these different things about how we can turn a lot of this stuff around. I've said before, I want to change the voting system completely. But there's many other things we can do as well. The report does go into that. So we've got here. So what they want to do is they've called now for, of course, bolder measures, including a new civic duty to staff polling stations, which will be akin to jury service. So they're going to now make people actually staff polling stations. Okay, new civic duty, but will make people certainly pay attention to voting on that. The think tank said that without action to improve participation in democracy, populist movements will continue to gain even more traction, even if the economy is doing well. Only 1 in 2 adults living in the UK actually voted in the last general election, and the think tank's analysis showed that this was one of the lowest shares of population votes since universal suffrage. Amongst registered voters, only 3 in every 5 actually cast a ballot. The IPP recommended at least 4 policies it said would be now effective in raising turnout, narrowing inequality, and of course would feasibly could be implemented in this parliament. These were lowering the voting age to 16. Again, I think that would be very, very good to do. Implementing automatic voter registration. Yes, you should not have to register to vote. You should automatically be, registered to vote. So you can just turn up at a voting station. Excellent. There you are. Crack on. Go and vote. Introducing a £100,000 annual cap on donations to political parties. Again, not a bad idea. I'd like to see that done as well. And of course, creating the election day service, where you obviously get people like jury service to go and do these things. That's the only one that I am not 100% sold on, if I'm honest. Like, that is the one that I am not sold on. Like, why is people taking part in sort of, a polling day duty gonna make them go out and vote more? Now, yes, sure, they might interact with the system more, and maybe it'll get them to vote, and maybe more people will pay attention. I don't know. That one to me is, I don't know, but I don't know if any other country actually does it. Is there any other country that does that, and has that had a positive effect on voting? I don't know. Like I say, if you do know, let me know down in the comments. But that one is the one I am most skeptical about, shall we say, in that one. But lowering the age to 16, absolutely. I think that should have been done a long time ago. Something that should be absolutely done. I think putting a cap on, of course, political donations, again, for party, absolutely, that should be done. Like I say, with the whole Elon Musk thing, absolutely, Labour should not be timid about that. It's something they should absolutely be doing. And of course, automatic voter registration. I like, yes, do it. It makes sense. So again, let me know what you think to these. Like I say, that, like, polling day, jury duty, civil service type thing. Again, probably the one I'm certainly most skeptical. But there's other 3. I agree absolutely. Lower the voting age, automatic voter registration, put a cap on political donations. Like, those 3, absolutely, you could do this year. Absolutely, I think they could do this year. So then, if you want that, write to your MP and tell them about this report. Say, hey, have you seen this report? What about these things that they said? I'd like to see, you talk about these. I'd like to see you, Labour implement these things. So we'll see what happens. But I think those 3 are good ideas. We've talked about those in the past. Yeah, I think that is absolutely true. But again, I think turnout it's the eternal conundrum and question. I think doing things like that will make people, of course, turn out and vote. I think it will help improve things. However, one of the big factors is that people just don't go out and vote and then complain about politics when things don't go their way. you know, it's the ultimate irony of the fact that you've got a lot of people this year who did not go out and vote. It is very true that the turnout for this year's general or last year's general election was very low. However, you do not win a general election on turnout, you win it out on seats that you win. So at the end of the day, Labour won. And yes, they won on a very, very low turnout. But general elections aren't won on turnout. They're won on the seats that you win. And that is how many votes you got. That's our system. That's how it's done. So there you go. So let me know what you think, of course, down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.